The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is investigating digitally altered inappropriate images shared online with a local high school.
Currently, shared abusive or intimate images created with AI or other technology are not covered by Oregon law. Fox 12's Julia Lopez spoke with a lawmaker making the change to address that.
These sites are so sick and disgusting.
With the rise of artificial intelligence, not everything you see online is real. That includes digitally altered or created sexual images that in some cases target children.
It's mortifying to them. It's painful, disgusting conduct, but also it's harmful conduct.
Oregon Representative Kevin Mannix sponsored House Bill 2299 to prevent sharing such harmful content, especially in schools. Earlier this month, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office launched an investigation when Corbett High School reported at least one student had been targeted by inappropriate and digitally fabricated images posted to social media. A detective says they're working to build a legally sound case for prosecution. No arrests have been made. But right now, digitally altered or AI images and deepfakes aren't included in the state's definition of image. So sharing this type of sexual content isn't covered by law.
Some might argue that the law does not address this kind of conduct because it's not really a depiction of the person. But with the modernization of artificial intelligence, we realize that it is possible to make one of these false images look exactly like a real person.
Mannix says he introduced House Bill 2299 after hearing from a victim of digitally created sexual images distributed online who was told by police that nothing could be done.
They told me that the cyber laws had not quite caught up with the internet. These images and stories have caused tremendous anxiety and PTSD in both myself and my daughter. We rarely feel safe.
Mannix is advocating for law enforcement training to identify these crimes and asking high schools to make it clear to students these actions may come with prison time.
Young people may think it's funny to create artificial images. Well, it is not funny. It is damaging. It is very hurtful.
Julia Lopez, Fox 12 Oregon.
That was Julia Lopez reporting. House Bill 2299 goes into law on January 1st. We have reached out to Corbett High School about this incident, and we are waiting to hear back.